Okay, hi everybody. Neve here from the customer success team. We're also joined by Matt from our customer success team. So we're really excited that it's going to be a very much a double whammy from the customer success department today. And we also have one of our co-founders, Finn, joining us to run through this really exciting topic. So basically, as you all know, this is a webinar about our Glofox Insights product. So this is a product we are massively proud and excited to share. We've been working on it for a couple of months now, so we think it's just going to be so valuable for businesses, whether you're just a one studio, whether you're intending to expand, whether you already have a couple of locations. This is going to be pretty paramount in how you manage and run your business. At the moment, we do have Glofox reports embedded into the dashboard, but this is really just breaking that one step further and giving you a lot more kind of granular information on really interesting flows that are going to be pretty crucial in terms of lead conversion, business growth, business retention. So we'll get into all of those juicy bits in a second, and you'll see us definitely geek out about it. So hopefully you find that interesting. Well, I'll just begin now, and we'll run through basically our agenda for the webinar. So we're just going to go through a quick piece on what actual Glofox Insights is, what are the benefits of Insights. We'll run through a demo of how these reports actually look, how you can actually use them, what the actual downloaded version of the report will look like as well, just to give you that full kind of insight, pardon the pun, to the feature, which will hopefully give you a real good taste of what's coming. We'll then go through, I guess, a bit of a comparison and kind of review on what currently is with Glofox reports and how our Insights reports kind of advance that further, and then we'll just go through what's coming next. And then obviously one of our favorite parts of the webinar is to get to answer any of your questions, which I'm sure you will have plenty of. So if you do have any questions, if they come to light as we run through things, don't hesitate just to pop them in the chat, and then we'll address them then as we go on. So with that, I'll actually pass you over to Finn, and he'll be able to give us a good insight into our Glofox Insights report.
Great, thanks, Neve. Super excited to, you want to jump back a slide there, Neve? I think we've gone on to the benefits. There you go. So Glofox Insights. So as Neve said, this is actually 9 months in the making. So this is a huge initiative that our engineering and product team undertook. And this is based on a lot of feedback we've been getting over the last number of years in terms of, giving you folks additional insights to make better business decisions. So this is our new advanced reporting tool to better understand, retain, and grow your business. So we've been working with a partner called Looker. So Looker are a business intelligence platform owned by Google. So we've been spending a lot of time with the Looker team in developing these visualizations and reports. And the reason why we picked a partner like Looker is that that we could focus on the data around your fitness businesses, and they could, as you'll see in the demo, give us the help on the visualizations, and gives a lot more flexibility and speed to get more reports as required. So ultimately, this is not just a case of giving you tons and tons of new reports, and we don't want to do that just for the sake of it, but it's about giving you the right data so that you make better business decisions, so that you're a lot more informed on the day-to-day on your business in terms of how things are trending, what's working well, what's not working so well. So you can make better business decisions. So the kind of key areas that we're looking at range from member activity, so that's anything around active members, your sales and your acquisition, how you get more members in the door, and then obviously pretty topical, but retention is obviously an important part of things right now as we go through COVID, and some metrics and KPIs around that. Utilization around how classes and trainers are performing, and then a little bit more insight on the makeup of your member base. So there's a breakdown of your member demographics. Oh, I just realized my camera's off as well. That's the second time today that's happened. So in terms of the key benefits, so this is really around giving you the trends, so you can kind of see the impact and the recovery on your business right now. So obviously everyone's gone through a pretty difficult time through COVID. So hopefully these visualizations and charts and graphs will be able to you'll be able to kind of see that recovery as we come in and out of lockdown. Big benefit here is the historical data. So we know in the Glofox platform there are certain reports that have historical data, so you'll be able to retrospectively see trends over time. But this is going to give you all those key metrics and the historical data, so you can actually hone in on particular marketing campaigns that have gone well over particular periods and get that historical data over time. And ultimately then, as I said, you're going to make more informed decisions. You're going to help monitor and grow your business ultimately. So it's about eliminating that guesswork. Previously you might be making certain decisions based on instinct, but this is going to give you a little bit more data behind those decisions too. And if you're a multi-location owner, so if you have more than one location, so you might have 1 to 10 sites or 100 sites, today you'd have to have access to your 10 different sites in Glofox, but this gives you that real holistic view, so you can kind of compare and contrast locations as well. And obviously then you can kind of monitor that business performance between particular sites. So without further ado, I might just go to the demo. Let me just share my screen. Can you see my screen? Do you want to give me a thumbs up there? Yeah. So this is the Glofox Insights dashboard. So this will be a separate login to Glofox. So anyone that wants access to this, they'll need to have a separate login for now. But as I mentioned, this has the 5 key areas at the site. So we have the member activity as your menu, your sales activity, your leads conversion, and your retention and utilization, and then your demographics. So if you wanted to get more granularity and see certain reports or KPIs for these particular areas, you click through there to get that. At the top, you can filter on your time period. So if you wanted to look over the last 6 weeks or 6 months, you can adjust that accordingly. And then we've got these kind of widgets here that kind of call out those key metrics. So this is your main dashboard here. So this has a kind of a summary of those kind of key reports or key metrics for member activity. So today we have active members, and just one kind of caveat here. This is a demo or test environment, so it would be great to have 4,862 members. But obviously just mindful that some of this is dummy data, but this is good to kind of show you that trending over time. So everything here that you're seeing is clickable, so you can click on these particular numbers, and more importantly, it's you can get the drill down, so you can actually see who those particular people are, because that has been a common piece of feedback, is there are certain reports or charts that will be really useful to see the people behind the metrics. So if I was to click on here and you were to do a download, you can extract that into a CSV, and this is just an example of what you would get. So you've tons more data on those particular users. So it's not just a case of listing those particular members out. It'll give you a lot more granularity on those particular members. So if you were, if you did want to do your own reporting or slicing and dicing, you could do that with that extract. So these are other widgets here. So this is sales and revenue. So this is just a quick summary of how sales is trending over time. Your lead conversion as a key metric under your lead acquisition conversion section. That will show that one trending over time. And we've just called out these other kind of 2 key metrics of seeing who the most active people are within your club or studio. And as we mentioned, in terms of better understanding the member base, we've got age distribution here. So there is a lot more granularity. So if I was to click into the member activity, this is where there's more detail behind those particular areas. So we spoke about the active member being a really important metric for any fitness business if you are running memberships. But what this also breaks down is who the new signups were. So this will have the new joiners, which is obviously an important metric, but this also kind of splits out the first timers and the rejoiners as your new signups as well. And as I mentioned, a lot of this, you can click on this and see who those particular people are if you wanted to get those new joiners along their journey. Another big thing that will we'll talk about shortly when we're going to go a little bit deeper on retention tactics is around expired or cancelled members. So there's more, there's more information on who those, you can see here for week beginning that August 31, that 391 people cancelled. So, given that they just cancelled in the last 2 weeks, or their membership, naturally lapsed, these folks would be, a good example of people that you could target to get back in your fitness business. Pause obviously shows who those frozen or suspended members are, if they've paused their membership. Overdue then is going to show you who which members are in that delinquent state, or have a payment that's overdue. And a really important metric here is that net change. So as running a fitness business, you want to see how are you performing in terms of are you acquiring new members at a greater rate than how you're losing members. So what this does is it has your new joiners, your rejoiners, less your cancel people, to show the net change. So month on month, if your net change is improving, then obviously you're going in the right direction. So that that's a really important metric, and a big one to add in here as well. Are there any questions, Niamh, that I need to address along the way, or just keep going?
Yeah, I say keep going, and then we can address some of the questions all together at the end, because I say a few people might have the same question along the way, so we can answer it all together at the end.
Awesome. Okay, so next section is around sales and revenue activity. So similar to the information you get in the dashboard today, it's going to give you the total sales and a breakdown then between where that the different revenue streams. So if it's coming from memberships or single memberships, you have a bit more granularity here in terms of breaking down recurring versus single. So that is useful, and what the breakup of payment methods is too. We've got a visualization here on the credit pack sales. So this is going to give you the total amount of credit packs if you're running credit packs in parallel with your memberships, and that trending over time, week on week. We've got store then as well as a revenue item. If you're selling any products as well, you can have that split out. And then other sales, like what we have in the main Glofox dashboard, is any other additional revenue income, whether that be from custom charges, for instance, for late cancellations. This is similar to what we have in the dashboard, the money owed. So if there are any particular members, it'll sort out, in order of how much they owe you. So you can target these folks if they're overdue in terms of having a failed payment, then you can target those particular people. I'll jump on to the demographics. So this one is really useful now to see a bit more insight into the makeup of your client base. So you have, for starters, we've got the gender split. So we can see here in this demo environment that there's approximately a 60-40 split between male and female. And then the age distribution, you can see the makeup of the particular age group that are in your studio or club. And the really interesting one here is that if you do track the postcodes for your members as well, you'll be able to see which particular area that those folks live as well. So that's a really interesting one too. But I think one of the most important metrics here, and ignore the total number because it's pretty high, is the average spend per client. To me, and from speaking to a lot of fitness business and franchises over the years, this is one that people kind of tend to focus on active members as that key metric. But this is a big lever. If you can get more money out of each of your members, then obviously you don't need to retain as many or don't need to acquire as many. So this is another lever to get more, to grow your business effectively. So, we can talk about certain tactics that you could do to improve that, whether that be selling more retail items and upselling members onto different membership plans, or complementing with credit packs. But that's a really important one that that it's good to really keep track on getting more spend or more yield per client. Niamh, is there anything you want to add there to demographics?
No, I think that it's a really important feature that sometimes could be overshadowed, maybe not necessarily understood of how important that can be. Simply just from an awful lot of time that whenever we're talking about throughout our webinars, or even just as one-to-one with accounts, we're talking about making sure that you are fully prepared anytime that you begin, let's say, a campaign involved in advertising, Facebook advertising, Instagram, and so on, simply because that, it costs money and we're not ignorant of that. So what we just want to advise is making sure that you are completely supported as possible, and so that whatever money you are putting into your Facebook advertising, that it's well backed, and you can justify, okay, well, we're going to contact females in between the ages of X and Y, whatever, so that way then you know that like who you're targeting, and the money that you're using in your advertisements is being well spent. So I think this is really going to open an awful lot of avenues for that, and just help businesses make such smarter decisions whenever it comes to setting out a lead acquisition campaign. So I think it's just really important just to stress the importance of that, and how crucial it is to understanding your ecosystem in terms of your member base before you really start diving into, let's say, a campaign. So
Awesome.
yeah, and I think with that we'll probably just go and look through the actual lead acquisition report as well, which
good segue into lead acquisition. So this, as I mentioned, is around getting new members in and getting them converted, or getting new leads in and prospects. So it has the start at the top of the funnel, has the leads created over time, and as I mentioned, everything here is drill downable, or that's a word. You can actually get that extract of who those particular people are, and then the next stage in the funnel, if you are running a trial, you can see how many trials have been purchased over time, and then how many of those trials were converted to members, and then that's just going to show the conversion rate over time if that is improving. One thing that Niamh, you just mentioned there, that Instagram, this is a big difference, I think, in terms of the new report added here of seeing the source of where those leads are coming from. So you can kind of direct spend or efforts to those particular campaigns that are more successful. But yeah, do you want to maybe chime in on that one, Niamh?
Yeah, no, that's absolutely it. That's very much it, to the point where an awful lot of time, if you are investing into advertisements, or maybe if you find that you are getting an awful lot of footfall on your web integration, and let's say you're just on the gold plan at the moment and maybe not on the platinum plan, which holds the lead capture form, then maybe having this add-on in the insights will give you that understanding. Okay, well, listen, we're getting so many people on our website. If we get the platinum with the lead capture form, like, we can really optimize and convert a higher rate of leads basically than what we're doing now. Is that's what the lead capture form is designed to do. So again, it's just helping you make such kind of more smarter decisions. And I think even if you are looking at, let's say, your Facebook or your Instagram advertisements, you can see whether those campaigns are working by identifying, let's say, where that lead actually was, where they came from. So I think having that lead referrals aspect, again, it's just going to kind of reaffirm basically your decisions whenever you are making like important campaign decisions.
For sure. And then just kind of relates to that as where those leads and members are being created. So are they converting and creating accounts on the web integration? Are they coming via the app? Are they being created in Studio or Club? So this kind of gives that breakdown as well. All right, so maybe let's jump on to retention and utilization. So first piece is around bookings. So it's, today we do have the number of bookings within the platform, but this is useful to get that trend over time. Similar, if you are using attendances or access, it's going to show that over time as well. Classes held, which is pretty topical. If you're obviously, certain markets are going to have restrictions and number of classes may need to increase based on capacity. So that is useful just for staffing as well, to see the number of classes held over time. And then utilization relating to that is how full those classes were over time, which will also help make those kind of staff decisions and see which trainers are most popular as well. Then we've got here the most active clients. So we can see these particular clients are your most active, your most loyal. Maybe you want to reach out and give them a an account balance or a free session based on their activity. And then on the counter to that, from a retention perspective, is to see the folks that are, have attended the least amount in that particular period. So that's a really useful one to kind of mitigate, that attrition by seeing them and catching them and getting them engaged before they, hit the expired or cancelled list. And then as a really important metric, not only to attrition and retention, is your average membership duration, to see how long your members are typically staying on a plan, and if there's anything you need to focus on to keep them longer, obviously. Is there anything, Niamh, on retention that you want to zone in? Maybe do you want to give some examples of what we've seen clients doing around the cancellation list or the expired list?
Yeah, I think probably the expired and cancelled reports is something that's going to add massive value. I know it's a question that comes in many times, as a CSM, in terms of like, how can we retarget these members, and this is going to be again fully backed up then by your rejoiners report, which is really, really great to have. So with the expired cancelled reports currently in Glofox at the moment, you have that list of just expired reports, and you also get, weekly emails of any members who will be expiring that week. So we are, still advising and kind of still giving you those tools to get on top of, let's say, anybody who will potentially expire. But here I think it's the breakdown that if these members actually cancelled or whether the member just expired. That differentiation is massive. You can start learning a lot more about your business. You can start learning a lot more about what your members need. If a member cancelled due to, let's say, an actual business issue, for example, whether it's a class they don't have, a trainer, a setup, whatever that may be, I think again that report's just going to help you become that more all-knowing about what your members' needs are and what you kind of need to achieve. And I think what Finn is also just showing here as well is that we have this alerts feature. So this is going to be massively important, I guess, in terms of either sales activity, but also in cancellation or expired members activity. If, let's say, you have a massive spike of, cancellations or expired members, you can set a certain kind of, metric, for example, that if it exceeds that, then you can definitely kind of see, okay, well, listen, we've had a massive spike of cancellations or expired members. What's going on? Are they just expired? Is it just maybe annual renewal time, or is there actually something wrong? And then again, by having that drill down feature, as Phil has, as Finn has described, you'll be able to actually find out, who those members are. So in the same regard, even with sales activity, having that alert feature is going to be massive, because you'll be able to even send, an email to other trainers as well who don't necessarily have access to the insights report. You can still keep them motivated and engaged with all of that kind of activity.
Exactly, yeah, and that's what we've seen. Tons of our early adopters on the product use is these alerts. So they don't want necessarily to have their trainers, or they want their one of the owners doesn't necessarily need to log into Glofox or into Glofox Insights, but they can create these alerts and get those emails on a weekly basis. So that is hugely beneficial. I'm just mindful of time, so maybe we should
yeah,
maybe
absolutely.
move on.
I think we can move on, and I'll pass it over. I'll just share my screen again. I'll pass it over to you, Matt, just to kind of, I'll pass it over to you again, Finn, just to kind of wrap that up again.
Yeah, so I've covered some of this earlier on, but the main difference between Glofox Insights and some of the reports that we're getting today, we've touched on some of the differences in terms of the advanced reports or metrics that you wouldn't necessarily get in Glofox. We mentioned the historical and trend analysis is really powerful, and being able to look back over time. So that is the big differentiator. Alerts, Niamh has just called out some of the use cases for sending those reports directly from Glofox Insights. And at the start of the presentation, we mentioned the aggregator view. So this is, more for the multi-site owners or the franchise partners, but to get that holistic view across their sites that, that's not, available within Glofox standard today. We'll keep going.
Yeah, I suppose I can jump in here. Just if everyone wants to know, like the reason I've been sitting here quietly is it's my first webinar, so I'm only getting used to this, so do excuse me. But yeah, like really excited about this. Essentially what I'm going to just talk to you about is that like we always have these resources available online. If any of you are interested in learning more or want to know anything else about this, like do check out our knowledge base. In terms of like moving forward and wanting to learn more about the product and maybe even getting it added to your dashboard, like you can do that via going through the support team, or going through to straight to your customer success manager if you're aware of who that is, or just email us at customersuccess@glofox.com. Yeah, I'll be more than happy to kind of pick up that conversation and take that forward from there. And yeah, now onto the questions. So I suppose I'll go back through the ones that we have here, and we can get the answers to you guys. So I'll start with the ones that I just see in the Q&A there. So in the lead utilization, is the list sortable to see who is the missing client? I think that.
Yeah, so all those lists are sortable. So if you wanted to do an extract and find out, which particular folks are missing from each stage of the funnel, you'll be able to see that along the way.
And then just kind of follow up that one as well. There was a report there with the top 10 most or least active clients. And can you actually drill down to see more than just the top 10?
Exactly. Yeah. So that summary widget is just giving you the high level summary of those 10. But once you do the explore, you'll be able to get, in order, who are the most or least active, depending on which one you click through.
Cool. And then we have two more here. So is Glofox Insights available to all users?
It's an add-on at the moment. So, there's a particular special that we're running for the next 6 months. And I think your CSM will be in touch on that if you want to get more details on that to get early access. So it is a separate add-on, and kind of related to the next question from one of our franchise partners. Is it available or part of the franchise partner deal? But it's a separate add-on for all clients and all plans.
Yeah, that's all the questions that I can see there. But yeah, just to kind of emphasize what Finn said on for kind of existing clients at the moment, like we do have a special. So do get in contact with us. We'd be more than happy to pick up that conversation and see if it's something that you guys can get added and get using. And then obviously, as ever, if you ever want to connect with us, don't hesitate to reach out to the analytics@glofox.com team, and we can kind of answer any further questions or queries there. And then, as always, as well, with these webinars, like if you enjoyed this, please do take some time to give us a review on G2 Grad. It would mean a lot to all of us here. And yeah, hopefully see some of you soon, and potentially even see you in my inbox tomorrow or next week.
Awesome.
Great. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.